The cold winter rain soaked the streets of the strange city. Hood, a 30-year-old woman with a small suitcase, was searching for shelter. Her work assignment had forced her to stay in this city for several nights, a simple but exhausting mission, reviewing the documents of an old company on the verge of bankruptcy. She was a new employee at an auditing firm, and this was considered her first independent mission. Heavy pressure was on her shoulders, because she wanted to prove she was capable and could gain the trust of her managers. The destination company had a building with dusty archives, rooms full of yellowed files, and employees who had no hope for the future. During the day, Hood walked among the tall shelves, flipped through papers, and examined lifeless numbers. Each time her eyes fell on old dates, she felt trapped in the past. This mental fatigue made her want only one thing at night: a place to sleep. The travel budget was limited. The firm had not allocated much for accommodation, and Hood did not want to spend from her personal savings. This made her look for a cheap inn instead of modern, bright hotels. Choosing such a place was not unfamiliar to her. In childhood, she had often stayed with her family in old, low-cost houses that smelled of dampness and rotten wood. Perhaps those memories unconsciously drew her toward a building whose appearance was worn and sorrowful. Inside the inn, the smell of dampness and rotten wood spread. The manager, a middle-aged man with a cold face, handed her the room key without any explanation. His gaze was empty, as if he did not care who entered the room and who left. The narrow, dark corridor, the weak yellow lights, and the sound of dripping water from the ceiling made everything heavy. Hood turned the key in the lock and the door opened with a soft sound. The smell of dampness and dust hit her face. The room was small, but something weighed inside it. The walls had dark stains, the curtains were gray and heavy, the wooden bed was cracked, and the ceiling lamp with its weak yellow light trembled. On the small table beside the bed, there was a cracked glass and an old notebook left behind. Hood stood for a moment and looked around. She felt the room was staring at her. She took a deep breath and sat on the bed. The wood groaned loudly. The ceiling lamp trembled again and shadows shifted on the walls. There was a door inside the room that was locked. The inn manager had said it was a storage room. At midnight, when the rain grew heavier, a faint rustling sound came from the corner of the room. Hood listened. The sound was like something moving behind the wall. With fear and curiosity, she touched the wall, but found nothing. The sound stopped. She returned to the bed, but her mind was full of questions. She passed a bad night and morning came. On the second night, the sound lasted longer. Hood examined the wall more carefully. Her fingers slid over the cold, damp surface and she realized the sound came from behind the storage door. She wanted to open it but remembered the manager had said it was an unused storage. She did not dare to enter. She only touched the door. She went to sleep. Her short, restless dreams were full of strange images: a room turning into an endless corridor, an abandoned hall, and walls closing in. Each time she opened her eyes, she felt the room wanted to swallow her. She became sleepless and decided to discover the truth. She opened the hidden door. Cold, heavy air hit her face. Inside the room, shelves full of leather notebooks and iron chests were visible. The walls had dark stains, like traces of hands that had tried many times to get out. There were bags, suitcases, shoes, clothes, and many personal belongings. She was terrified. She picked up one of the notebooks. The writings looked like confessions, unfinished sentences, dates written in red ink, inconsistent, repeating again and again. But the real shock came when it said, "Once you enter, your existence belongs to this house." The walls began to tremble slightly. Shadows moved on the walls without anyone there. She felt something strange. The room was alive, a hungry memory that devoured every guest. Among the notebooks, the names of previous victims appeared. A man who had written, "I should never have come on this trip." A woman whose only sentence was, "If someone reads this, know that I am still alive." Another notebook was full of unfinished poems, and one contained only a list of dates. All of this showed the room had an endless memory, full of lives that had been extinguished. Hood tried to escape, but the door closed. She screamed, but soon there was no scream, no footprint, only emptiness. At that moment, the room took a deep breath. The sound of the walls was like lungs filling and emptying. The room calmed down, like an animal satisfied after a hunt. The next morning, the manager calmly entered the room. There was no trace of the girl. He collected the remaining belongings, threw them into the hidden room, closed the chests, and locked the hidden door. Then he arranged the bed, pulled the curtains, and whispered, "Ready for the next one." His face had no emotion, as if he had been doing this for years. Perhaps he was the first victim, perhaps the guardian of a cycle that never ends. His gaze at the walls was full of familiarity, like someone who knows the secret of the room and is allied with it. At nightfall, the next guest entered the inn building. Is this new guest destined to unveil the hidden secrets of the mysterious inn, or are they merely the next prey in its endless cycle?